Hello and welcome. I have in front of me the Cast a Spell die set, and this is such a fun one to work with. So on the left here, I have all of the individual dies. You do need to detab them, so I've already gone ahead and done that, separated them all out. And I've already die cut a sample of each one so that you can see what all the individual components are. And then I'll show you a couple of ways to put together these really fun potion bottles. So what we have, let me just go through all of the different dies just so that you can see what all we have, and then we'll go through the construction. So we have 3 different bottle shapes. So you have this really round one, this sort of angular one, and then one that's a little bit more of a test tube. And you see them die cut here, your 3 bottle shapes. For each of the 3 bottle shapes, there's 2 dies that you can use to cut out whatever liquid is contained within that bottle. So you can use these individually, or you can use them combined and layered together. So one die will cut out all of this bubbly detail. So you've got the little circles cut into it. And then the other die cuts out a solid shape. And you'll have that for each of the 3 shaped bottles. Then those are going to be your main bottles and the potions inside them. We have 2 different styles of stoppers that you can put on the top of your bottles. We've got a shelf here to put all of your potion bottles on. The shelf does have a separate die for the 2 feet. I've already assembled it here so that you can see that. It's a pretty easy one to put together. So I've just die cut it out of some wood grain pattern paper and then glued the little feet on top. Then you have a couple of different labels that you can add to your potion bottle. So you've got your skull and crossbones, which is right there. You have, I think I am missing that one. I die cut it. There it is. So there's that label. There's the smaller label here. These can go right on top of your potion bottles. You've got this die here that cuts out this really fun bubble pattern. You can just cut that pattern into your cardstock, and imagine if you were making an underwater scene. You could use it for an underwater scene where if you had blue cardstock, you could die cut into that, back it with white, and then it kind of looks like air bubbles coming to the surface. Or you can die cut it and actually use the circles that fall out of it, which are here, as little bubbles that are continuing to bubble up out of your potion. And we have this little die here, die cuts this piece, which can be a little bit of that specular highlight at the edge of your bottle. So for example, you could put it where you would maybe highlight with a white gel pen. You can do that with your die instead. So you could do a little something like that. So let me show you the shelf I've already assembled. Pretty easy one to put together. Let me show you one way of putting together your potion bottles. So what you could do is, I'll just go ahead and set, they're all going to be pretty much the same. So I'll just set 2 of them aside and we'll focus on this one. So you can take the die that has the detail cut into it and layer this on top of the more solid die cut of the same shape. And so that will make it seem like the liquid is sort of bubbling up inside. And you can do it both ways. You can have the lighter color on the back if you want, and the darker color in front, whatever you prefer. And then you can take this and then just apply a little bit of adhesive of your choice and set it right on top of your bottle. The nice thing with liquid adhesive is that there's a little bit of time. You can kind of move that around a little bit, and then there's your potion bottle. And then of course we can put our stopper on top of there. We can add our label, whatever you like, but that's your basic potion bottle. The second way to do this is you could take your main outline die cut it out of the light purple. I'm going to create the exact same, use the exact same colors, but assemble it and die cut it a little bit differently. So the light purple I've die cut using the outline bottle shape. Then I took the exact same outline bottle shape, die cut it out of the light blue, sort of my glass color. But then you can do this either in one step, or maybe not with this one. The round one you could do in one step. This one has to be a two-step because the dies don't fit into each other. So once you've die cut out this shape, you can then lay your this die on top and cut out a little aperture. And that's what we have here. And then for the die that has all of the bubbles cut into it, I've die cut that out of the same dark purple. And so these now become my 3 pieces. And I know it's a different shape, but just by comparison, the way this one was created was with the equivalent shape, but in those 3. So here's how to assemble in this configuration. You can take your bottle that has an aperture cut out of it and just a little bit of liquid adhesive or any adhesive of choice and stick this right on top. It's the exact same shape die cut, so it'll fit exactly. Then you can take your detail liquid die and inlay that right back in. So 2 different ways of assembly, and they give you slightly different looks. So up to you what you prefer. And it's not going to be a perfect inlay because this die is actually slightly larger than the one under it, but that's how that looks. So here we have, it may be hard to notice, but see how it's basically flat? Whereas with this one, it's slightly raised because we have 2 layers of the liquid on top of your glass bottle, whereas this is almost nearly flush because we've backed it with the color that we want the bubbles to be, and we've more or less inlaid the dark purple in line with the bottle, the glass of our bottle. So this is a more flat construction, whereas this is a more raised construction. So it depends on whether you like to feel and have that texture of the raised surface, or if you want something a little bit flatter and more inlaid. So both options are there for you to kind of construct however you'd like, whatever is easiest for you. And I think they both look fantastic. So there's no right or wrong method. And you can always make these any kind of liquid. So it doesn't have to be bubbling. You could use the solid shape on its own and not use this one at all. So a lot of different options for mixing and matching and layering if you want. So let me go ahead and show you an example of these potion bottles on a card.